Hello guys, it's me again. So, let's talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Now, I saw The Amazing Spider-Man 2. You can read my review for that and The Amazing Spider-Man 1 on my Instagram, Spectacular Spider-Man. That's my username. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be posting my reviews on my Instagram. But let's begin. So, The Amazing Spider-Man... Okay, so, what happened was, back when The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out, well, actually not really when it came back, last year, I think in maybe June or July, Sony announced not only was Amazing Spider-Man 2 going to come out in 2014, this year, which at the time was a year away, on May 2nd, but also they announced an Amazing Spider-Man 3 would come out on June 10th, 2016, and I can't remember the exact date, but they announced what, quote-unquote, an Amazing Spider-Man 4 on, or supposedly an Amazing Spider-Man 4 sometime in May 2018, I believe. Might have been the 6th, maybe? But I do know they announced it for May 2018, but we don't know if it's Spider-Man because they already announced there's going to be a Venom movie and a Sinister Six movie. And not to mention, and there's some rumors that it might be either one of those movies, Venom or Sinister Six. And another thing is, Sony's been hinting. A lot of the cast and crew of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 have been hinting that it might not be Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield said he probably won't come back for that movie. And he also, Mark Webb said he's going to drop out of The Amazing Spider-Man 4. And also he said the focus might not be completely on Spider-Man, which has led to some theories that it could be Venom or Sinister Six. Now, we got some new insight recently on The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Two things. First off, Mark Webb said that it's going to focus more about Peter's recovery, because, spoilers, okay, go away if you haven't seen The Amazing Spider-Man 2 yet. Spoilers. Gwen dies! Yep. Not like you didn't know that if you have connection to Google, or anything, or the internet, then you'll know that, because everybody was freaking speculating that, and Sony showed Gwen falling through the towers in every single trailer. Thanks for spoiling that, Sony. But anyways, so yeah, Gwen dies in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Mark Webb has said The Amazing Spider-Man 3, which he will be directing, will focus more on his recovery. Also, he was also asked if what villains he's considering, and he says he's considering his top choice so far is Kraven the Hunter, which I was a little bit surprised about at first because he's more of a secondary villain, but I'll explain that a little later. He also said if not Kraven, maybe Doc Ock, Vulture, Mysterio, or Scorpion. Those were the others that he mentioned. There might have been another one, but I think those were the other four he mentioned. But he says right now he really is thinking about Kraven, and in his perfect world, he will have Kraven the Hunter as the villain in The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Also, a very prominent producer on on all the Spider-Man films, Avi Arad, has said that we might see Lizard again in future films, and he might look a little bit different, so perhaps he could actually have, like, a larger snout, which I would like. I want him to have a larger snout, but, what happened, but here's another rumor. Let's go back to rumors. The rumor is that The Amazing Spider-Man 3 will be the symbiote. Now, here is my theory. I think they're obviously listening to more complaints. Sony is obviously listening to more complaints. For instance, although I like the darkness of the Amazing, well, although I like the tone of the Amazing Spider-Man, a lot of people said it's too dark, it's too Batmanish. So Mark Webb comes in. Okay, then I'll make the Amazing Spider-Man 2 much more colorful, and that's what he did. He made it more colorful. It wasn't as dark and gritty. It still made sense. There weren't that many cheesy scenes. There were a couple cheesy scenes I thought, like that little kid at the very end. But yeah, but here's my theory.